Hi, and a warm welcome to all of you. My name is Névine Zariffa, and today on my first ever podcast, we will be discussing the future of clinical trials and how technology can really, truly make them faster and better. Over 25 years in pharma, hundreds of people on my teams, hundreds of clinical trials, I can tell you that we often heard from technology experts, hey, I know how to make your world better. That wasn't always the case when we looked under the hood. However, my guest today, Ilan Carmeli of a company called Beaconcure, will show us that actually the future is here. They've done the hard work of building something that is concrete, that brings value. And I'm delighted to have you with us, Ilan. Could you please say a few things about yourself and maybe your company and your product, and then we'll get into the conversation.
Sure. So first of all, thank you for having me. So my name is Ilan Carmeli. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Beaconcure. Basically, it means that I'm in charge of the fun stuff, aka execution, product, and R&D within Beaconcure. Today, in our discussion, we are going to talk about verifying new models and roadmap. And I'm pretty sure it's going to be a very interesting discussion about these topics.
Okay, so let's back up just a second and explain why we care about clinical trials. So clinical trials are the way we generate evidence, data, statistical results that tell us, does the drug work in improving the clinical outcomes for patients with a particular disease? And what safety issues can we expect? How would we deal with them? And so what's important about that is if that's the way we find out if we're going to get a new medicine out to a patient, we want to do this work well, and we want to do it quickly so that we get to them the medicines that really matter for their disease. And so you talked about statistical analysis. Tell us more about how you got to care about that problem.
You can imagine today a very smart person that actually needs to validate the title, the footnotes, the format, the standard, and so on and so forth, instead of focusing on making sure that the efficacy or the safety of the study is actually according to the company guidelines. So our first model called validation is actually helping this persona to actually get rid of their administrative tasks using technology. During our discussion today, we are going to talk about also the second model that we like to call it the draft review process, help you to communicate, collaborate, and basically to manage your statistical analysis review end-to-end in an efficient way. Again, using technology, having everything in one place or under a digital framework as today based heavily on Excel, Word document, and emails. Basically, all these elements that are not created for such complex process.
So I think I heard two things there. One was, well, we've got smart technical people, statisticians, programmers, there are clinicians on these teams, there are regulators, there are clinical operations, there's project management, there's safety experts, etc. They need a one-stop shop where they can look at all of the draft outputs and talk with each other in real time about what they're seeing, what concerns they have, any changes they want made, so that at the end of the day, this clinical trial is reported accurately, that we know what the drug does or doesn't do for patients. And today, I think you're saying that it's a very manual process. We're not using these experts' time in the smart way. And that's not good ultimately for patients, right?
Exactly.
Tell me more about how you bring all these, we used to call them cross-functional experts. They're on a clinical trial, they're in the team. How is it that they can get value out of your product in that cross-functional space?
Perfect. So let's start from a high level, and then we have some kind of deep dive into the product. So our product goals is based on three items. One is transparency. making sure, for example, you can ask yourself, or you can get an answer about a simple question, right? What is my reach status of my delivery? The other one is predictability. I would like to predict when the output, when the delivery is going out. For example, if I'm a CRO and now I'm a senior executive, I would like to make sure that we are on time. The other one is about traceability. I would like to make sure not only who did what and when, but what was the logic behind your subject matter expert decision, basically. So this is our primary goals. So within Verify, you can get all this output under one digital framework. What does it mean? So the system actually parse all your output under one delivery. So all your outputs are going to be visible to any kind of internal stakeholder. Then you can just press a button, ready for review, and to invite all your stakeholder into the same space under Verify. Then the medical writer, for example, can actually review all the output at once and place an issue. The title is not correct, the footnotes are not so informative, and so on and so forth. Instead of reviewing output, you can place an issue on 100 outputs in a second like that. So once the medical writer is going to place an issue, their issue is going to be kept and saved in a one place that we like to call it activity local audit trail. So, and then it's going to be added automatically into the task management of the statistical programmer. Now, going back to the current state of the industry, so today the statistical programmer needs actually to aggregate all the issues that are coming from emails, Excel sheet, comments into one Excel sheet. It takes a lot of time just to aggregate everything in one Excel sheet. And we coming from the software industry say, hey, why not just bring all the methods from our industry into such important process, such the critical review process?
And that's something that I really like about Beaconcure. And I guess I should say one of the reasons I agreed to be a scientific advisor to the company is you took the time to really understand and work with experts in clinical trials. You didn't just come in with your technical software know-how, pretend like you knew. You took the time to educate yourself. And so that's impressive. And I'm glad that the market is seeing the value of your tool now.
Exactly.
So that's terrific. I think I'd like to close out, if I could, with a question for you around what's next? What are you going to tackle next? Because, and if I may, you took a very methodical, some might call it slow, path to make sure that your AI was working properly, your automation was hitting the mark, you trained on hundreds of clinical trials to convince yourself and potential clients that you had it right.
Yeah.
You put a layer on it that's for validation. Then you put a layer on it for communication. Then you put a layer on it for a dashboard. What comes next? What are you hoping to solve next?
So we are going to offer to the market three main things. One is generating the statistical outputs automatically. The second one is offering a resource management platform for CRO and sponsor, basically to manage their resources in an agile approach instead of linear process. And the third one, we like to call it the infrastructure, the support such element, is implementing or modify or training current LLM that's going to fit our industry.
Those sound like fantastic offerings. They're going to hit the mark at multiple levels throughout the layers of big complex companies. And I guess you're going to promise us to do that work just as methodically and accurately as you've been working to date.
Yeah, this is our promise. So Thank you very much for the great discussion and looking forward for the future. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. And good luck to you and your team.
Thank you.